Hey friends, welcome back to The Table, a church planting journey. I'm joined with my friend Ryan, and we are hanging out today in person.
We're in the same room.
It's crazy. It's great.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we've actually been together quite a bit, and so I think like nearly living together, and we're almost neighbors basically. So we thought the social distancing was okay today. Oh man, how you been, Ryan?
I'm okay. Just a little bit behind the curtain for everybody. My wife and kids have moved to Missouri to be closer to my father-in-law. He's having some health issues right now, so we just thought that was the wisest decision right now for them to be out there. So I'm batching it. I'm being by myself.
Yeah.
Just me and the dogs.
Yeah, that was last night actually. Ryan's like, hey, what are you doing tonight? You playing hockey, right? I'm like, yeah, it's 11 p.m. game. He's like, can I come? I'm like, I guess if you want. But I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we lost.
But it
Oh,
was
man.
really close for like most of the game.
That's true. That's true. Until the end when it just fell all apart. Yeah. Now we've been praying for Ryan and Megan for sure during this time. If you guys listening, watching, do the same, we really appreciate it. As for me, I'm officially unemployed. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that because technically, like, the church plan is like full force, has been for a while. So, like,
Yeah.
this is my job, even though it doesn't pay the bills. You know, you can donate at the table at TheTableNaz.church/support. No, but it's been an interesting week of kind of like pulling back for a sec and you know, to think about it, it's really kind of been 3 weeks that I've kind of been done with the job. It kind of winded down, and we had a good Christmas Eve service, and yeah, it's been nice to be with the kid. But it's only Thursday. It's 4 days in, and I'm twiddling my thumbs, like, man, I really want to like
Yeah.
work again.
Yeah.
But no, this is gonna be a good time. So
Yeah. All you kids out there planning a church, not a get rich quick scheme. Just in case you didn't know.
Absolutely not. Oh man. Well, today we thought that we would go into kind of the story and the idea of what kind of inspired us and directed us towards picking a name, right? So we call ourselves The Table. We're a house church network, kind of a long one, but a lot of times we just phrase it. It's the table. Well, what do you do? Oh, we come to the table. We share the table. But we came to this idea after, it was like 5 minutes, right? We just sat there and we're like, the table, and we're like, yep, that's what we're doing. So
The table was, oh man, it was probably like the 30th idea we had.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
was not the easiest process. At one point, wasn't there like a lighthouse involved?
yes, yeah, for sure. Well, because I was thinking Beacon, like Beacon Church, Lighthouse Church, and actually I was like so excited about it. Started telling people on the core team, I was like, I'm thinking about like the Beacon. I'm not sure, like it's not set in stone, but like I'm just like really in it. And one of our core team members, like they got really excited about it with us, and they bought this awesome. It's upstairs. I'd love to go grab it for you, but they bought this awesome painting of this lighthouse in the storm, and they're like, hey, I got you this just because like the church plant, and I'm so excited. And like literally that week we decided on the table instead of Beacon or Lighthouse Church. It made me laugh, but it's a wonderful painting. It's hanging in my house. I love it.
What were some
So.
of the other ones? The one, like
Yeah,
one church?
One church. I think at one point I was thinking journey, like community-based like words. I opened up a thesaurus at one point in time and just like put my finger on it, and I said that church. And
I think that's like a good idea. Like how, like let's walk people through the process of how we got to the table.
yeah, like one of like Ryan and I were just saying, like we went through 30 ideas and tossed out a bunch. I literally at one point opened a thesaurus and just like looked at words that were based around community.
I definitely did too. Yeah.
But I mean, how I settled on the table, I think you and I had mentioned it to each other. Kind of, we just had said it, the TableNaz, right? And
I don't remember.
I can't even
remember. I don't remember.
It's like
when
a
we got
year
there.
ago now.
Oh, this is a while ago. So I mean, so just kind of give people the process. So like, we started talking about, all right, we want a church plant. We want it to be cool.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be lame. And then we started talking through names. We were, Beacon, One Church. we started Googling to make sure that like no other churches had the same name that were near us.
Yep.
That's one of those things that like I think a lot of people just don't think about. Like, you might have the coolest name ever, but like if we, I mean, this obviously isn't very realistic, but if we did Christ Church of the Valley,
there's one across the street from my house right
now. That would make no sense. For us. So we that was one of the things we thought about was Google.
What churches had similar names? Or I mean, you think about it. There's so many churches, even just in the areas you're living, and think about in 5 square miles the names of the churches. Where I was pastoring previous, there was mine, Tempe Church of the Nazarene. Just around the corner was Tempe Lutheran Church. Then around the corner from there was Tempe Baptist Church. So Tempe was kind of that the hold because of the location, and then they just put their denomination there. But one of the unique ones was Grace Community. They are kind of a non-denom Baptist church that's doing some great stuff in the Tempe area. But names were one of those things that was kind of it's a foundation to your church plant, but it's so much more difficult than than it seems,
So I think things that we really considered was, is there another church with the same name near us? Could we get a URL, a domain? So like we were thinking about our website,
all of our socials.
We wanted to be able to like just say the same thing
across the board,
over and over again, and like those are things that like, they're not like as spiritual, but it makes it so much easier as you start going through the process of just telling people, okay, we're the TableNaz, we're the TableNaz.church, the TableNaz on Facebook,
Twitter,
Instagram, like all those places that if you search the TableNaz, you will find us. And so we wanted to be consistent throughout all of those things.
One of the things I remember talking about with you, Ryan, was when we decided that we were not going to use any Greek or Hebrew.
That's another big one. That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't think it probably bothers you as much, but if people can't pronounce the name of your church, it's probably not a good name. And if people don't know, it's like great, like, I mean, what's a popular one, like koinonia or something like that? Like
Kairos. I
don't know what those words mean.
They're cool. They sound cool.
And if people don't know, I mean, I don't know. I think for us too, like we really wanted to think through, would a non-church person come to our church? If your name's something like people don't know how to pronounce or it looks funny, like think of like kids who like don't want to eat broccoli, do you think somebody who has never been to church would purposely go there? I mean, I probably wouldn't.
I know. Well, I think about even just some of like the crazy Mediterranean restaurants that my wife has brought me to. I don't know half the stuff in the menu, and I'm too nervous. Like I see pita sandwich, and I'm like, that sounds great because I know what it is. But it's this weird kind of human side of us that we don't want to try the new things. We're it's I don't know, so I'm going to go to what I know, and I think one of the things within not using the Greek or the Hebrew word, which if your church plant is doing that and you guys are finding success, like all power to you. This is not a like hard stop by any means, but our thought process. And funny enough, my uncle just preached a sermon the other day, and he had brought up Christian lingo and like Christianese, if you would, about how we talk through Christian things and these terms that you and I understand. But if you're a new believer or a non-believer, someone who's never experienced the church, like, hey, come to koinonia. Like, what is that? Whereas our kind of thought process as building the table was, it's so much easier when we say, hey, would you come to the table? I mean, it's an easy invite. The table is kind of a generic thing. Almost everybody has one. I mean, there are those bachelors in the world. You walk into their apartment, they have their lazy boy, and then their television, and then a bed that's on the floor. Not even a bed frame. I remember those days.
Let's just say I ate lunch at my island yesterday.
Yeah, I feel that.
And today.
I ate it at my office desk today in the house. There's no need to use the table. See, my wife would never understand this, but we get it. We get it.
Yeah. So we wanted it to be something inviting. We wanted it to be something that's easily understood. And then I think there's like we can get into. I think that this is another podcast of our logo.
Yeah.
Our logo, I think, is a. I mean, I think the name and the logo kind of go hand to hand.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to separate the two.
Yep.
But we wanted something that would be inviting, something that anybody would be able to understand. Of welcome to the table, come to the table.
Yep.
But also, there's like some deeper meanings behind it. You want to explain some of that?
Yeah. Well, we've said it kind of in our past podcasts, and we're having a come and see event on January 10th. So if you're listening to this beforehand, go back through our socials and find that. But in our come and see event, we want to describe the table. Mm-hmm. And one of the kind of slogans that we use is that we bookend our church with the table. So the table is what, this thing is here. It's a table. It's firm. It's steady. It can place stuff on it. You eat a meal on a table and around a table. One of the things that we read through in Scripture is communion and how Jesus broke bread at the table with the disciples. That goes back to the bookending it. We like to open our service with dinner at a table, and we like to close our service with communion at the table. And it's kind of this inviting element that when you walk into the door, come and sit and relax with me. Have my favorite soda right now from Costco, the blood orange Italian soda. So come and have an Italian orange soda with me. It's great. But just this place that it is peaceful. There's a inviting element to it, but then there's all these layers to it that makes it so much more than just a piece of wood on some legs.
I think we mentioned it before, the Rachel Held Evans quote, but this idea of like the table being a welcoming place, and then like when we say like, hey, there's always room at the table, like that's meant to communicate something that we want, like anybody with any history, whether you've been in the church your whole life or you've never stepped foot in a church, there's always room that you can come. Even if like we're in Trevor's house right now, even if we're like, this place was packed, which, I mean, that would be a great, after COVID, that would be a great problem to have. There's always room for more, like we can, pull up a chair, like somebody will get up and move. And it's this kind of this sense of community too. Yep. Not to kind of put myself out there, but like too much, but like, just this morning I woke up and there were groceries at my door.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect that at all. I knew that somebody was going to bring something by, but I was expecting like a casserole. But there was a whole bunch of groceries from some people in our core team who just wanted to bless me and know that I'm living by myself. Luckily I did go shopping the other day, so I have like abundance of groceries right now, which is great. I won't go shopping for a while. Let's just say that. But this idea that we're in each other's lives.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, like good times, bad times, we're together.
Yep.
And there's always, the table's kind of an equal playing field,
Yeah.
Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to have friends and family, and that's what we wanted to do. Yeah,
I see it like as a beacon as well.
Yeah,
because the goal is to have multiple house churches around the valley and kind of being everywhere.
Yeah.
In these, again, smaller numbers, but at the same time, lots of numbers is the goal. But it becomes this beacon of when you hear the table, and there's one in Chandler, and there's one in Gilbert, and there's one in Mesa, and hopefully there's multiple in those cities. Yeah. But when you hear the table and you begin to look and you see the network expanded, it's this beacon of hope and of light where that when you hear the table, at least I think one of our goals is when you hear the table that it's an inviting, welcoming space, whether you come to this location here in my house or one of our other locations anywhere else, you'll know that it's family, that you're cared for, that you matter.
I just thought of the Olive Garden commercials. Do you remember those?
No. Explain them, please. I gotta get this.
It's might have been like the 90s or like early 2000s.
Okay.
The Olive Garden used to have like their motto was Olive Garden, when you're here, your family.
Okay, yes, I do. That's like 2000s there. I was maybe 10, 12.
Yeah. But like that's like that. I mean, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
When
It's
this idea of you when you are here, you are part of something bigger than yourself,
absolutely.
and you're accepted and you're loved, and we want you to be here. So.
For sure. And we want you to be here.
Yeah.
And so kind of just a short little dab into the ideas of what is the table, what are we, this house church network. We just thought we'd explain a little bit, why did we pick this name out of everything that you could think of? Beacon, One, Christ Church, Nazarene, just tag anything on there. We've all heard all the names, right?
It's probably like one of the most important choices we've made.
Yeah.
Of planning a church.
Yep.
Especially since we haven't had any actual services yet.
Yeah.
Up to this point, I think like the name, the logo, our website, like those are probably the biggest choices we've made so far.
Yeah.
Because it's branding. It's
Yep.
telling people who we are.
Yep.
We did get a message. Did you get a chance to listen to it?
I only listened to the first little bit before the dog started barking. So do we want to listen to that message right now?
Can we, is that a possibility? Can we listen to it?
I think we sure can. Give me a sec.
Hey guys, this is Oscar, and like you guys, I was trying to find a podcast for church planting, and yes, I'm in the same boat where everyone is very experienced and speaks of the success of what not to do, but it's great to have some fellow pastors to listen to their struggle. Maybe you guys are a few steps ahead or a few miles ahead. But I want to encourage you guys to keep on going, and thank you for what you're doing. I'm looking forward to listening to more of your stories and journals, and maybe I can do the same some other way by being inspired by.
Wow, thank you, Oscar. That was really encouraging.
Yeah.
I didn't, honestly, you guys, I didn't know anybody was actually listening to this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hear excitement and passion within your voice, Oscar, and some of the trepidation that we are going through right now and have been through. You're not alone, man, and God is going to do some good things. I encourage you, take that step, do something. That crazy thing you're thinking about doing, whether that's starting the podcast, a blog, just a video series on YouTube or something.
It sounds like you wanted to plant a church. So
yeah, that's what I'm hearing for sure.
Maybe we can get Oscar on the pod.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. Oscar, email us.
Yep. I think we're TheTableHouseChurch@gmail.com, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or you can email us directly because we have them more memorized. I'm Pastor Trevor C@gmail.com.
Yours is a lot easier.
Perfect. There we go. Pastor Trevor C@gmail.com. Email me, Oscar. Let's get in touch. We'd love to hear your story and what you're doing for the kingdom.
Yeah. That was, I mean, I was like, so that I just heard that this morning. Like I said, I was 100% blown away. I had no clue that anybody was listening to this. I'd told a couple people about it.
Yeah.
And I think they were nice enough and listened to them.
Yeah, the first one or two, yeah. Well, my mom listened to it 4 or 5 times, so thanks, Mom. Appreciate you.
Gotta get those play counts up.
That's right.
But yeah, I think that's just great to hear that other people are finding this. Part of our dream for this podcast and for our church planting journey is that we are a resource.
Yeah.
That we can help people grow and make a difference.
Yep. Like we talked to our district superintendent, Doug, and our kind of church planting coordinator, Jeff, and we had talked about this idea of failing a lot to help others find success. So often, like we talked about, I think in our last episode, churches are afraid to try things, or they don't have the budget or the personnel to just do things that are different. Yeah. And we have this unique opportunity to do it, to try it, and if things aren't working, like we're going to be real honest with you guys, and we want to utilize this as a place where you can jump and launch into your next thing. And the reality is something that we might fail at, you might find success at. So don't feel like every time we're talking about something bad that's happening in church plan or something that's not working, won't work for you.
I think some of the best advice I've ever been given is the best ideas are the ones you steal. So please steal all of our, even if you're like, oh man, like I know how, the reason why Trevor and Ryan did something and it didn't work, like I could do it differently and maybe it'll work. Yeah. Like please do.
And then tell us because we want to know.
So we haven't talked about this beforehand, but I think talking about the name and all that stuff, that was great. But we decided the name, like you said, like a year ago.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the way that we end each of these episodes was we could kind of talk about where we're at in the journey right now.
Yeah.
So Trevor mentioned we have our first kind of info meeting coming up. We're calling them Come and See. The vision for these, before COVID happened, was we would get a bunch of people inside the house and we kind of give a presentation and show people what it's like for like what we envision the table to be like. But that's not happening anymore for lots of good reasons. So can you kind of walk them through what we're working on right now and kind of what your vision is? Because he's been working on this all this morning. So
yeah, no, we as we're kind of ramping up into this whole new season in 2021 of like we're full church planting mode right now. Like Ryan said, this Come and See event, it's digital, kind of edited all this material. We kind of did a short form of how the things were built, and we're going to present that Sunday. But basically every single week for the rest of the year is something. Yeah. One of the cool things that I think we're going to be able to achieve in the midst of COVID is our dinners for six. Where
hopefully we'll be able to do
I hope so. But, taking this idea of gathering 6 people together, smaller numbers, you can stay masked up and socially distant, but taking people from within our core and our launch team and gathering them together with new people, Christian and non-Christian, friends and coworkers, and gathering this smaller group to kind of share life and begin to break the ice. Maybe this is the cold event that gets them into the doors for the Come and Sees.
Yeah.
We're working on some big outreach stuff coming in the next couple weeks and months, and it's like we keep dreaming about acquiring a PS5, which seems to be the hardest thing to come by right now. But we want to do a giveaway at our big event this March again, depending on how COVID goes. Yeah. The vaccines are rolling out. My wife just got her first shot, and so she's doing well, and I'm excited to go get mine eventually. But there's just a lot coming down the pipeline right now. Yeah,
so right now, our big struggle. So if you can, if you think about it, pray for us, is just really building up a team.
Yeah.
We've got 5 couples, Trevor and Rochelle, me and Megan, and then 3 others who are committed, who are all in.
Yep.
That's what we're calling our core team. And so we're trying to develop a launch team, which is kind of the next level out, where we want people to, we want to know that, hey, when we launch a church, we say, hey, all right, we're open. People will show up.
Yep.
Part of that is faith. But also, I think there's things that we can do that we can make a difference. So what we're doing is we're doing this digital event where we're going to show people what it's like to come and have a meal, sing a song
worship,
or 2, listen to a message, and then the kind of our vision is that at the table, after we do a sermon, a short 15 to 20 minute sermon, we'll do kind of a small group right then and there. So instead of waiting until, Tuesday, we're just doing it there. And so instead of that kind of small group atmosphere this Sunday, we're going to do like online Q&A.
Yep.
So we're going to stream it, which you knew more about streaming than I did. But before COVID, I knew nothing about streaming. So like we're both like experts in streaming now.
That's right.
Because we've had to be. But we're going to stream it where people are going to log in, they're going to ask questions, and we'll answer them hopefully to the best of our abilities.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and I think one of the things that I really God works through all of these things. We had this whole plan where last year Ryan and I put our heads together. We put it all on paper. Here's our events starting in January through the rest of the year, and we were planning to meet in person every single week.
Well, originally we were going to launch in February.
This is very true. For a long time back in 2019 and 20, we were anticipating a February launch date.
Yeah.
And because of COVID, we've had to adapt. But I think God's going to utilize this online event for so much more than one single come and see in person could ever do.
Yeah.
Because in 3 months from now or 6 months from now, when people are kind of looking at what the table is, or we're right before launch, and we have a friend of a friend who's like, what do you even do?
Yeah.
Send them over to the YouTube page or the Facebook page and check out this come and see event, and they can spend an hour getting an idea of what a Sunday night will look like, and then getting all of their potential questions answered.
Yeah.
And if they have more, hit us up in our email, DM us in our Instagram. We it's an amazing opportunity that if COVID wasn't happening, we'd reach however many people showed up that first week.
Yeah.
And now we have potentially an unlimited amount, even years from now, with one single, what we thought was a speed bump is kind of God using it as a launching pad for us.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I guess I'm probably in the same boat with the podcast. I'm just assuming nobody's gonna watch it, but I mean, that's a little bit of hyperbole, but I kind of assume the 5 or 6 people we've talked to about it will maybe tune in if they have time, but the odds are this is gonna be one of those things that it'll live on for the next few months at least.
Yep.
And it'll be something that we can easily point people to and say hey, if you want to see what this is, go here.
Here's the link. I'll probably one of the things I currently do. My homepage on my phone's internet is TheTableNaz.church. So probably my second page, I'll just flip between. It's going to be this video. It's basically my business card. Whenever I talk about the table with people, I just pull out my phone, I pull up the internet browser and say, hey, here it is. This is what we're doing, and they can just scroll. And by the way, if you haven't checked out the website, Ryan designed that, and dude, it is so solid. We got some really good feedback this week on it, and it's exciting. I'm not patting my back because I didn't do anything here. I'm just gonna pat Ryan's back there.
No, thank you. It's one of those things that I enjoy doing, and I think it really communicates who we are, which is what we want to do.
Yep.
So, if you have any questions, people can hit up the Anchor.
Yep. If you are listening on Anchor, if you're watching on YouTube right now, go to your phone, download the Anchor app, and find us, TheTableNaz.church. Or actually, that's the website, but TheTableNaz will be on there. And you can actually use the messaging function, which brings us back to Oscar, who that's what he had done. And you can leave us a voice message. We'll listen to it, and we'll respond to you, and kind of, it's a basic way to do dialogue. It's great. And if you're not on Anchor or you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think, where you're at with this. And the big thing I think that constantly is revolving around this plant is the foundation of everything is prayer. And so we want to pray for you and with you. We've just started to receive some prayer requests from people, and it hit me this week. We're a church. We're actually pastors.
Yeah.
People are reaching out, and even this morning to hear that a bunch of groceries showed up at Ryan's door. We are the church, and we'd love for you to come and be a part of that with us.
Yeah, and even if you're maybe this is something you thought about doing, or just if you have questions, please let us know. We don't promise to have the right answers, but we'll try.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
that's what we can do. We can try. We can try.
Give the old college try, I think is the saying.
That's right.
I don't know. I think at this point I'm just talking words.
Shooting the breeze.
So thank you for joining us at the table, a house church journey. We'll see you hopefully next week. We don't really have a schedule with these.
No, not yet.
Yet.
We hope to just continue to roll these out and to have some good conversations. We'd love to continue to get your feedback, but thank you guys for listening or watching today. It's been a blast to kind of prepare these and talk. Ryan and I talk a lot, but I think this kind of helps us kind of put the ideas down out into the world so that we can continue to move forward. Be praying for us in these crazy seasons. I know that both Ryan and I are in the process of looking for jobs. And of course, with all the other stuff, Ryan's family is kind of off in Missouri for a time. And if anything, it's me that pray for my wife, because I'm becoming that spouse at home that's just whining and complaining about, like, it's so boring. I can't do anything. I'm applying everywhere. So pray for my wife is what I'm saying.
I have faith that God has got
Absolutely.
something great in store for both of us.
Yeah.
So it's just sometimes his timing isn't as convenient as we would like it to be.
Yeah,
So.
that's right.
So we do appreciate any prayers that you can give us.
For sure.
All right, I think that's it.
There we go. Thank you, friends, for tuning in. Again, you can find us on all of our social media platforms and on our website at TheTableNaz.church or at TheTableNaz. We'll see you next time.
Bye.